I'm stronger than before. I've come so far. Every scar's a story, a lesson in the dark. With every step I rise, I soar. No matter the battle, I'm stronger than before.
Hey everybody, it's Robin with Jarbreakers, and I have an exclusive interview today with Miss Gulf Coast USA Icon 2025, Dez Durden. Des, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Robin. I'm so excited to be a part of your podcast.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. So I'm going to jump right into it because I'm very excited to talk to you because you are a phenomenal human being. I have been watching your social media. You have quite extensive resume, I would say, of the things you've already accomplished. And I just think you're going to be such a great role model for other people within the pageant industry. So I'm excited to talk with you.
Thank you so
So,
much.
first and foremost, can you just give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself?
Absolutely, everybody. My name is Dez. I'm your current reigning Miss Gulf Coast USA icon. I'm also a mom, founder of When Roses Bloom. It's a mental wellness platform dedicated to healing in different ways, whether it be art or through talking or literally just any ways of healing, accessible to everybody through different resources that they need. I also am an author of a book also titled When Roses Bloom. It started as stories about my life's experience, whether traumatic or exciting, just life in general, and how I navigated those things. When I started to get positive feedback and everyone was like, hey, I went through that, or oh, I want to know how you navigated that, I turned When Roses Bloom into something for the entire world.
I love that. How did you come up with the name When Roses Bloom? Because that's a beautiful name.
Thank you so much. So, my favorite flower, of course, is a rose, and it's been that way forever. My great grandmother, she used to have a garden in her backyard, and she randomly used to plant roses. I didn't know you could plant roses. It's an entire bush.
That is
So
true.
I was
That's a
like,
good point.
oh, okay. So learning these things and just growing up, roses have always been a part of my childhood. My daughter's middle name is Blue Rose. So
Oh,
it's a
that is
tribute to her as
beautiful.
well, to let her know that you have a mom that you don't have to heal from. So this is a dedication to my daughter. And just to give a little backstory on how roses actually bloom and how they're nurtured, they all bloom at a different capacity and they can bloom in different areas and different spaces. It all just depends on how much they're nurtured and how much they're cared for. But regardless, they'll bloom regardless of time. So when roses bloom is a dedication to everybody who is trying to heal and they feel like it's taken forever or it was so easy.
That is so beautiful. So that I'm going to snowball off of that a little bit. So you also have here then that you are a published author and a poet, and I'm crazy about this because
I
I love
am.
poetry. So that was,
Mhm.
I think you're the first person I've ever met that actually is a published poet that I like in
Oh my
person.
gosh, thank you so much. That's so
So
exciting.
I mean, I'm a published poet as well. If you count what I wrote in eighth grade, and it got put in
Congratulations. If you count it, yes. I still count when I won the spelling bee in the third grade. Yes.
it's a ridiculous poem. It was like one of those with the letters, like it was like friends, and then there's like an
Oh my
each.
gosh, I love
It's
that.
so bad. I just found it the other day, and I was like, "What the heck?" But
That's
yeah,
hilarious. I
um,
love that so much. But that's exactly why I do poetry because there's so many different forms and versions and ways to connect with it. And in my book, it's just particularly they don't even rhyme. Well, most of them don't rhyme. There's no particular way of the poem. It's just me trying to express my emotions through my poems. And that's all that When Roses Bloom. It's not storytelling or anything like that. It's me storytelling through my poems. So when people read them, it's not like, oh, I don't understand this. There's a bunch of different metaphors and it's easy to understand the context. I do always recommend that you're at least 18 or older before you do read it because it is traumatic stories about my life and I want to be able to help people navigate through them, not traumatize them more.
oh yeah, I get that. Well,
Mhm.
that's
But I do
awesome.
love poetry. I do poetry slams here in the city that I live in. If I ever have time to, when I'm not in the city that I live in or I'm somewhere else, I do try to look for local poetry slams that I can just visit and not perform at, just so I can see other performing artists or just to get a feel of their culture and the things that they do Poetry is extremely close to my heart. I know people hear me talk about my birth mom all the time, and not necessarily a negative way, it's just
Mhm.
explaining the stuff that we've been through in our lifetime. Right now, we don't have any communication, which is okay, but she is also a poet. She'll
Oh,
probably hear this and be like, why would you say that? She is timid. She's so shy, and like the world can't know I'm good at things. She's
oh,
very okay with just being who she is. But my mom is an amazing poet. She writes poems for her husband all the time. She used to write poems for us and put them like on the back of our pictures. And I didn't know it until I got older. I think I was already a teenager, maybe close to my early 20s, when I was going through all of her old books from like high school and scrapbooks. And I'm like, Mom, you wrote this? Mom, this is your handwriting. You wrote this? So
I love that.
everything is a tribute to my life. Everything comes from some significant piece or some significant importance.
That is awesome. Wow, I love the way that you take what's going on in your life and you turn it into poetry. So many people don't do
Thank
that.
you.
So
That's how I survived. I know other people tend to have ways of doing things that help them, but poetry, being able to write it, then being able to recite it and talk about it, even if it's in a way that someone doesn't understand, they're like, "What? What is she saying? Or what does that mean?" I
yeah,
said it, and I understand what I'm saying, and I feel relieved that I no longer have to hold it in, and that's exactly what When Roses Bloom is.
that's awesome. I just love that. Well, we'll definitely, you have to point us in the direction so we can see your book or something because
Absolutely.
I would love to read it. So, I mean,
Oh my
that's right up
gosh.
my alley. I have a bookshelf full of poetry. So,
Oh
and
gosh,
yeah.
you're
Well, it's
amazing.
weird because, and I don't want to take the attention away from me, but I think because you're a poet, you will appreciate this. My grandma passed away a couple of years ago and
I'm sorry.
she was older. She was 99, but we knew it
Mhm.
was getting towards the end.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was weird. I was walking through an antique store and I kept getting drawn to like this book of poetry, and it was old
Hmm.
school poetry like Edgar Allan Poe and things like
Yes.
that. And I'm
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
and it's weird because I kept like walking away from it and then I would just turn around and come back to it. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I need to buy this book. So I bought it and
Yeah.
then I kept going everywhere I went with it. I kept carrying it. Like it was weird. Like I just didn't want to
Hmm.
set it down. And then I happened to go visit my grandma and she was like I said passing away and she was laying in bed and I'm holding her hand. I was reading her poetry and I happened to turn the page and the next line of the poem I was reading was her name and it was about going to heaven, and in that moment she
The
took her
way the
last breath.
universe speaks,
Hmm.
seriously, the way the world around you will just literally hold you in those moments when you
Isn't
need it
it
to.
crazy?
It's
So
amazing.
yeah, so it was like this. I don't know. It's the strangest feeling. I still get chills thinking about it. But I was telling my cousins afterwards. I said, I'm like, turned the page. I said her name. I looked over, and she had just stopped
Oh my
breathing. And right at
gosh.
that moment, and like I'm like, she went off to heaven. And so we ended up putting that poem in her at her having it played
Oh
at
my
her
gosh.
funeral. So
You and her both needed that moment. And thank you so much
yeah,
for sharing that with me. Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
So
My great grandmother used to sew, and she used to make these little tiny little she called them pocket prayers is what they called. So she'd sew
yeah.
or like crochet a little cross on the front of it. She'd give it to you. And then there was this little tiny paper folded up inside. And if you'd unfold it, it would be like a poem prayer. So
I
like
love that.
a prayer that she typed on it that rhymed so that you'd easily remember it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I appreciate you sharing that
I
with
love
me.
that. I wish more people did things like that more often. I think that would help a lot of people when they're going through a hard time to have
I
something like
agree.
that
I
with
still
them.
have it. Oh my gosh. If I would have known we would have connected so much, I would have had all of these things, right?
I know, right? I know. Isn't it funny how that works? You never know. So, well, hey, so I want to keep learning more about you. So
Hmm.
you said you're a mom.
Hmm.
So that's obviously a full-time job in itself right there. But what
Absolutely.
else do you do for work? I
Hmm.
think you said here you were a therapist and you help with mental health and everything. So when you're
Yes.
not doing pageants and you're not, running kids around everywhere, what else
Mhm.
are you up to?
The funny thing is, I am never not running kids around everywhere. So, my normal day job, I'm a behavioral therapist for an entire school district in the city that I live in.
Okay, then yes, you
And
are.
when I, yeah, so when I say behavioral therapist, I actually work within the special education department in all of the schools, just being that extra resource in classrooms when kids need it. And it's not always behavioral. A lot of the times I'm being an additional resource in the ASD classroom. So kids that are on the spectrum or have autism. Sometimes it's just kids like me who have ADHD and can't focus and need a break. So it's like, hey, Miss Des is going to come pull you. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to go through whatever we need to go through, whether it's a breathing exercise or whether we need to run around the hallway up and down. Those are things they can do with me freely because they know, hey, I'm not going to get in trouble. This is me trying to readjust my brain. So I'm the voice and the advocate for the student who can't or doesn't know how to use their voice to tell people what's going on.
That is
So
amazing.
for that kid with autism that uses an AAC device and they need extra words because they learn new ones and now they're just like, I can't communicate with you because it's not here. Or the ones who still are learning how to use their devices so they're able to communicate. There's so many different aspects to being a behavioral therapist. All I can say is you have to love what you do to do it.
Yes. Well, and I think you are in a perfect role based off of the little bit that we've already talked. Your personality just seems perfect for being there for
Thank
children and
you.
boosting them up and helping them stay focused. So I think you found your calling for sure. So that's
Thank you.
awesome.
I do tell people I have thousands of kids when they ask and they look at me crazy, but eventually they understand.
Oh, yeah. I get it. Yes. So what led you into pageantry then?
My very first year into pageantry was competing for the Miss USA organization, actually. I competed for Miss Michigan and I held the title as Miss Kent County, which is the county where I currently live in Michigan. And it was fun. It was my intro to pageantry. I had no idea what I was doing. I completely bombed the actual pageant when we were competing, but I got the experience and for the most part I enjoy the aspect of the sisterhood more than I do the feeling of competition or the judges or directors or like, the
Hmm.
whole empire of things.
Yeah.
So I like when it feels like family, and the Miss USA organization is huge. It's probably one of the biggest pageant organizations ever. I
Yeah.
can say I didn't have a bad experience whatsoever. I fell backstage at one point, and then they
Oh,
were just like, all of the sister queens helped me up, but then all of
no.
like the production team, they were like, now you're gonna be late, or like, dude, I'm just like, yeah, no. But then also, I'm a Taurus. I like to eat. They
Me
didn't
too.
feed us at all. And it's not that wasn't their problem, but we like within our schedule, we didn't have time to feed ourselves either. I actually
Yeah.
remember texting my parents like, "Hey, can you bring me food?" And then by the time they were able to bring it and actually get it into the building, I had no time to eat it.
Right.
We were like already competing, and I'm like, that's not even okay. So I'm like, women can get sick, people can start passing out. We don't even have water down here.
Oh,
But
geez.
we're running back and forth competing, and they're just like, "Oh, make sure you bring snacks. We told you to bring snacks." So there's like girls downstairs in the dressing room sharing each other's bags of chips. Excuse me. And I was like, okay. Other than that, I would say my experience with them wasn't terrible. I absolutely love Alma, the current Miss USA. She was in my 2024, 2023. I don't even remember.
One of them
But she
classes.
was yeah, she was in my class when we were competing as Miss Michigan, and she actually won Miss Michigan, and then she won Miss USA right after. So I absolutely love Alma. She is one of the strongest women, especially in her age range. If I'm not mistaken, Alma's only 22, maybe
Oh, wow.
23. So I can only imagine everything that she's endured, holding such a major title, being in the military, just being such a public
Yes.
figure, but also a leader. So I applaud her as much as I can, just because, honey, I can only imagine
Yeah.
with everything
Right.
that I've gone through, whether it was good or bad. I'm happy that she has the support system that she has to be able to hold her up the way that she does because she's reigning beautifully.
Oh, I love that. That's great. So it's funny you say that about the whole not being able to eat thing. I just got done with nationals for myself in May, and that we had the complete opposite. Our
Really?
our director was like, "You will go eat. You will drink water." And I was like, "Yes, yes, ma'am, I will." Here I
Yeah,
go.
seriously.
She was like,
No,
I am
and that's
not
what I
having any of you
love
pass
about the
out on my
USA
watch.
Icon pageant. We have lunch times like embedded into our schedules. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yes, I love this.
Yeah. It was just funny because I was like, I appreciate this. I will absolutely go
Yeah,
eat. Thank you.
it makes you perform better.
Yeah.
Being cared for when you have to spend so much money, indulge all your
Yeah.
time into an organization, and then literally put yourself out there for the
Mhm.
world to see. The
Well,
least you can do is feed me or give me a snack.
Exactly. And with our organization too, we had sponsored lunches and everything too. So if you're in an organization
Mhm.
where they're sponsoring lunches too, you want to be eating those, like somebody paid for this already. So you should be
Yeah,
going to eat it.
seriously.
So it's like one of those things too, where as a director, if you're going to provide that to your girls too, like make sure they actually get a chance to eat it. So, which is
Right.
again, one of the
Absolutely.
things I was so thankful for. And I heard with the Mrs. America system too, from what I understand, is they eat very well at nationals as well. So
Hmm.
I think some systems are really starting to focus on that, which is good.
Yeah, I
Because those of
agree.
us, I'm a Taurus as well, so food is my fave.
Important. I'm like, hey, this can go from me being super sweet, hippie, bubbly to I
Hmm.
don't want to do this right
It
now. I
goes like
can't
that, right?
focus. Yeah, it's
We
like I
can
can't
turn pretty
focus.
quick, can't we?
I'm like, okay, extroverted, introvert. The introvert's coming out.
I love that. So after USA, what came
Mhm.
next for you?
After USA, I was not competing again ever, actually. I was like,
Yep.
okay, that was fun. I liked it. Cool, great. Um, I started getting a bunch of inquiries about Miss Kent County and her showing up to read to students at the library or just showing up to events downtown just to bring more awareness to things. Not only because of pageantry, because When Roses Bloom was already a thing. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, I was still in the midst of trying to figure out how to promote When Roses Bloom and tell people what it actually was so that they'd be comfortable enough to be a part of the community. Um, but I started using the platform to grow my own platform. And I had no intentions of actually going back to the Miss USA organization to compete again after my experience, just because I was like, okay, I know for me, this is too much. I'm not going to do it. And after that, I was like, okay. But then I was just scrolling on Instagram randomly one day and I saw she's now a former queen. She's just currently crowned a new queen. Her name's Hannah. I saw her actually while she was reigning, and she was doing the same thing that I was doing, like reading her own book to students in a library because she released a children's book. And I was like, you can do that in pageantry, like as a queen. I was like, you can do stuff like that. They actually like stuff like that. So I started to do a deeper dive on the petite organization, and I was loving everything that I saw. One of the things that stuck out to me the most is that in 2023, they had a queen who passed away, and instead of not mentioning it or brushing, like sweeping it under the rug, they brought full attention to it. She won People's Choice. They brought her family on stage to allow them to accept her award. They recognized it. They allowed Queen to talk about her and their experiences with her. So I have a mental health platform. And just, of course, because I wasn't a part of that reign and that class, I don't want to mention any more details, but uh, everyone sweeps mental health issues under the rug.
Yeah.
No one talks about it. Everyone's like, I don't want that to ruin my
Right.
thing or whatever I have going on. So when they were like, oh no, that's not a thing for us. We love her and we're gonna make sure everybody knows it. I was like, oh, okay, that's amazing. So after that, I was like, okay, apply. We're just gonna apply. We're gonna do it. I ended up getting my Miss Michigan title. I was like, I love this. This is kind of
Yeah.
amazing. This is gonna go great. And it was exactly that. This time I was like, okay, I'm gonna reign completely different now that I know you can do different things within pageantry. I ended up getting a pageant coach. And one thing people don't tell you is that pageantry is not inexpensive by
Right.
any means.
Yep.
Like we're by the second week into pageantry, you're already out of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
I don't even know what you did, but you did it and it had to be done,
It,
and it's whatever.
it's like I tell people, I'm like, it's like you like hit your head and all of a sudden your bank account is zero and you're like, crap.
Seriously, and yeah. So pageantry is not inexpensive by any means. So all these women are putting so much effort and work and time and finances into just being able
Hmm.
to make themselves and their platform known. So I applied for the petite organization and it went absolutely amazing. I got my pageant coach. I started doing all of my appearances like normal. But then it just When Roses Bloom took off in a way that I wasn't expecting. It was like, oh, she has another crown. What is she going to do with it this time? Or maybe she is somebody. Let me join her forum, or let me start asking her about what When Roses Bloom is. So I started to get more attention throughout my platform. And because of that, I was like, okay, I don't necessarily have to be a queen all the time, but realistically, being a queen for some reason makes people more comfortable with When Roses Bloom
Yeah.
at this moment. So I ended up finding out it wasn't that I was a queen. It was because of me being the person that I am, growing up in adversity and having so much trauma, or being vulnerable about my trauma and how I heal from it, and wearing a crown and having such a huge platform or stage is why they started following. It was more so like, oh, she has the confidence to say all these crazy things happened to her and now she's fine. So maybe I can do the same thing too. It just became more relatable.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And after that, it was amazing. I promoted the Petite organization everywhere. Every single press release, every single book signing, every single autograph, everywhere. At that point, I was having fun doing it. Not only was I able to promote the organization that I was competing for, I was promoting When Roses Bloom, and not just throughout Michigan and throughout Georgia, where I'm from, everywhere. So it was super fun and
Mhm.
also fulfilling to, again, have that sisterhood and have other queens from other states realize what I was doing and also repost, or just, for example, a former petite queen, actually, she was a universal queen. She donated some of her sketchbooks to my backpack drive. So I'm going to put them in the
Oh, that's
backpacks for the
great.
kids. And she lives in Minnesota. So those things, I love being able to network and being able to support other queens doing whatever it is that we do. So it's more like a sisterhood instead of a competition. And that's just my aspect of the whole thing. I love the Petite organization. When we actually got to the hotel to compete, beautiful. I was lost for words at how almost organized everything was, how comfortable everything felt, how sweet everybody was. I was just like, this is nothing like Miss USA. I couldn't complain about not having food because we were at a hotel with multiple restaurants throughout the hotel and around. So they made sure that we absolutely had accommodations wherever we needed, and for the most part it wasn't terrible by any means.
Good.
The actual competition, it was great. It was super organized. They made sure all the girls were safe. They made sure the dressing rooms, like it. There were snacks. They had snacks in the dressing
Love
room.
snacks.
um Girls helping you get ready. It was just a big old, hey, this is homecoming, we gotta zip up these dresses and let's go. So it was a beautiful experience. The actual team that was behind the scenes helping with production, amazing, on point with everything. There was no rudeness, there was no cockiness. There was all, okay, we got this, I need you to listen up, and if we got this, ask. If we don't, ask some questions, we'll figure it out. So I love the experience. It wasn't until, oh, also I made top 10 in my first national pageant ever with Petite USA. So I was
Look at
able
you
to make
go.
history for myself and for the Petite organization system, being from Michigan, which was amazing to be able to talk about after. So I was like, oh, that's great. And of course, Michigan, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I didn't disappoint you. And they're like, disappoint us where? Like, you did amazing. We saw
Yeah.
you, we watched you. And then, of course, there's those people that are like, oh, we can't believe you didn't win. And then those
Yeah.
people that are like, hold on, why didn't you win? Like those people who actually know pageantry or like stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, I'm that
Yeah.
person who's like, I think everyone who got the places they got deserved them.
Yeah.
So if you see me in any of the pictures where all of the women are being crowned like top 10 or top 5, I'm cheesing. My smile is
Yeah.
so big, like my face was probably hurting. And it was funny because when I was crowned, or when I was called up for top 10 or top 11, the complete opposite. You could actually tell which woman was sabotaging my reign behind my, like, without my knowledge, because she was standing behind me and she's the only one that has a face like, oh, what? I can't believe
Oh
she's
no.
called. And I wasn't going to say that at all because it's very obvious who it is once you look at the picture.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's just like, well, you wanted the attention, so you're getting it
Well, that's
with
pageantry
whatever.
101. Always smile. Or make sure
Yeah,
your face is hidden.
seriously. And when I say it took me a few minutes to stare at the pictures to be like, oh my gosh, Des, you're a behavioral therapist. Oh my gosh, it's your job to read behaviors, but you were so pressed about being a part of the sisterhood and everything else that you missed everything. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay. And it wasn't just me. She was doing it too. She was also like harassing other queens. I'll explain how all of it
Yeah.
happened. So post the petite competition, I started posting everything about it on social media, having so much fun, the gown, the everything, just like we all do, did the whole recap. It was going amazing. And then I was just scrolling through Instagram stories, and the particular queen who was sabotaging everybody without our knowledge had posted a story, and she had tagged the Petite organization, the USA Icon organization, and myself and another queen. I'm not sure. I think she was like a Nevada queen or something like that, who was amazing. I loved her, literally loved her. Mind you, I actually loved the queen who sabotaged me even after. I was reaching out to her after the pageant, even not knowing she sabotaged, because I'm going to be in Florida where she lives.
Right.
So I was like, hey, do you want to connect? I had no idea, but that just says the kind of person that I am.
Right.
Um, so I also saw her story, and she's like, "Oh, these two queens are harassing me," and I'm like, "I literally just woke up from a nap. I haven't been on social. Are you sure it's me?" I was DMing her. I'm like, and then what people don't understand is that I'm still Miss Des without any crown, without any
Mhm.
sash. I still need to show up for my students as a behavioral therapist for 22 different schools. I
Right.
still need to show up as a mother for my daughter. I still have a partner, a family that I have to tend to. So I have an entire nonprofit based on mental health and making sure that people have community and resources. So those things I don't take lightly. It's not even about the petite organization or USA
Oh
Icon
yeah.
at this point. You're literally, this is my life. I
Yeah.
built this. What do you mean I'm harassing you?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm the last person to be harassing you. And even then, so I was handling it as the same tone that I'm speaking. I was like, are you sure that it's me? Like, I'm concerned and confused actually, because if someone's harassing you under the impression of being me, I'm concerned.
Right.
So she started telling me a story. Oh, this other queen's harassing me too. How do I not know you have something to do with it? I was like, I don't talk to anybody
Wait a minute. So
anymore,
she accused
actually.
you without actually having evidence that you were a part of it?
She accused me, yeah, that. And because she had a guilty conscience, she already knew. So what I found out was the queen that she said was harassing her wasn't harassing her. She told her what she did to me, which I'll explain shortly.
Okay.
And the queen started defending me, and she didn't like it. So that became harassment to her, because she was like, the queen was asking her, why'd you do that? Why would you do that to her
So
out of all
this
people?
this sounds like a classic case of someone creating scenarios in their life and then
Yep.
claiming bullying against people that are responding to the scenarios the
Yeah.
person.
And
Yeah,
yep, and
I
I
see it
then,
quite
yeah,
often in
and
my
then at
world
this
right now.
point, I'm still not even knowing what's going on, so I don't have a response, because what am I responding to?
Right.
So I made it very clear, and we had a 2025 Petite Queens group chat. I went into the group chat and I said, hey, I just was informed that there's some queens being harassed by me, but it's not me. So I said, these are my two profiles. This is my Facebook page. If it's not coming directly from these things, it's not me. So if you've been affected by it, I'm so sorry, but just know that I love you guys. And I left the Petite organization with nothing but amazing bonds.
Right.
That was pretty much my exact message verbatim. So I started getting messages back from other queens like, oh, Des, it's okay. Like, I'm so sorry that somebody did that to you. Another queen actually was like, oh, I can relate. That same thing happened to me. And I was like, as long as you guys know it's not me, I'm perfectly fine with whatever is going on. People will be people. Life will be life. I left it at that. Didn't respond, didn't look at the group chat. However, it kept going off. And this is a Facebook group chat. And my
Yeah.
notifications on Facebook are off, but I'm
Yeah.
very active on social media to make sure that people can keep up with all the things that I'm doing actively.
Sure.
So I was pretty much typing a status, and it was like bing, 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 and it kept vibrating. So I finally decided to open it. And it's a bunch of screenshots of the queen DMing and emailing the petite director, Jenna. Um, what did she say? Oh, she said, Des, Miss Michigan, is currently pregnant, and I saw her vaping and smoking weed all weekend. First and foremost, I did not respond at all to the group chat. I didn't like anything. I didn't comment after that. I first of all had to sit with the fact that I was confused. And 2 hours before these screenshots dropped, me and this queen were just planning meeting in Florida because that's where I'm competing. And
Oh my
then right
God.
before that, I saw the story of her literally sabotaging me, and I was like, "What is going on? I'm not harassing you. We haven't even spoken." So guilty
This is
conscience.
crazy.
Her message stated, I was going to wait until after competition was over, but I wanted to do it before top 10 was announced. So she's doing this in the middle of the competition while I'm competing, which is why she was very confused that I made top 10. And you can see it in her face in the picture.
Oh
That
my God.
is why I'm competing again for Miss USA Icon, because it's not for me. I competed for an entire state who not only supported me through my reign because my budget got cut in our special education department in March. So I haven't worked since March. I was able to make it to the petite stage because of donations and fundraisers and because of my community giving back to me and wanting When Roses Bloom to be
Right.
more than what it is. So that was a smack in the face in itself. And
Yeah.
then I'm finding this out after I'm already posting, like, oh, Michigan, we made history. I only made top
Yeah.
10. Like, it's okay. Now I'm like, did you just sabotage the rest of my
Seriously.
competition? And I have no
That makes you
idea.
wonder.
Exactly. So after that, I didn't do anything. I sat with it for a few days. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Um, so when I didn't even ask her to clarify her story at all by any means. I was like, okay. My first thought was, did anybody see me in swimsuit? Like, did anybody see me in swimsuit?
I was gonna say, I'm like, if you were pregnant, I think you would probably be able to tell, right?
Yeah, and then secondly, my only other concern was I what was it? We were gonna go to dinner together after like rehearsals or something
Hmm.
with a bunch of queens, and she was in the group of queens that we were sitting with. And then at that point, I didn't feel great. I drove to Chicago, first of all, from Michigan. That was a 3.5 hour drive. I had to
Hmm.
figure out my whole hotel situation because I drove to the wrong hotel at first, and then I was late for check in. So I didn't get time to rest or put my things in the room. I immediately went straight from driving my car to check in to whatever we were doing next. And
Yeah.
then I finally got to rest. So I didn't eat at all that day, probably. So while we were sitting at the table with the other queens, mind you, every other queen has been so supportive and amazing. I was like, she's crazy at this point. Um, so when we were at the table, I ended up getting really nauseous, and I was like, I don't want to. And I'm also a vegetarian and a plant-based eater, and they were at a
Okay.
steakhouse, so
Oh, so
they were
there's not
they
a
were
lot
at
of
a
options for you
steakhouse.
there, is there?
So there was that. And then there was another queen named Chelsea, that there's two queens there named Chelsea that I was actually closer with than everybody else because we were just bonding more. Chelsea lives in Ohio, and then another one lived in Connecticut, and I was in New York at the time. So it was just easy for us to bond. And I had disclosed to one of the Chelseas that I didn't know if I was going to compete, and that I told everybody that I was going to step down a few times, not only because financially it was just I couldn't afford
Yeah.
it. I literally just lost my job.
Yeah.
Um, Someone stole my wardrobe, not knowing that it was my wardrobe. So my delivery got delivered. Someone took the entire box. Okay, I can't fight this stuff anymore. So
Yeah.
I tried
Right.
to step down a few times. I just started telling everybody what was happening while it was happening, and people started donating, and fundraisers started
Oh,
happening. So
that's
all of
amazing.
that was great. So well, we were at the table. Chelsea ended up asking me. She was like, "It's okay. Like you made it, even after everything. Even after she's like, even after losing your baby, even after like going through everything." So what
Hmm.
I never disclosed to anybody, not even online, until I decided that I was comfortable doing so, which probably wasn't even until like a month ago, is that in April I miscarried.
Yeah.
First of all, me nor my partner didn't even know I was pregnant. And then at that time, I was reigning. I had literally, a few weeks after losing my job, I was already going through a stressful situation. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to finish
Right.
my reign? And
Right.
then now my body is affecting me in ways that it never has before.
Yeah.
Um, so it was so funny that she was like, "Oh, she's pregnant. She's vaping. She's smoking weed." I did have a vape. I Absolutely. She never saw the vape, and the vape was filled with CBD oil. You want to know why? Because my uterus still has not snapped back from losing a child that I didn't know I was carrying. But instead of her asking if I was okay, she was like, "Hey, do you want Zofran?" I'm allergic to Zofran. It gives me heart palpitations. And when I was pregnant with my first daughter, we both almost died because I took it and didn't know.
Okay.
So these are all things that she wasn't asking, but also I don't know you for you to make these comments about me post pageant just because
Right.
I said something like this at a dinner table and decided that I didn't want to have dinner with you anymore because I didn't feel good. So I went back to my hotel room and I called my partner to let him know, "Hey, I don't feel good. Not only do I not feel good like physically, I'm here alone because you have to work. I didn't get to bring my daughter like I wanted to.
Yep.
Last year when I was competing, my entire family was here. I just went through going, like choosing to go through no contact with my entire family. So in my head, I'm like, this queen doesn't even realize that people have real life things going on, and you just could have potentially sabotaged everything that I had planned to make sure that my life was okay." So I was like, okay. So, what kind of, and after that, it didn't turn me away from the petite organization at all. I was just like, okay, that's one girl, whatever, she's fine. Other queens did start to reach out to me after they saw the post and the screenshots. I'm sure if I put context to it and told them what it was actually about, they would be like, what the heck? Like, but that's the point. I'm not the person to speak
Yeah.
on other people at all, especially if I don't know what I'm speaking on, especially not to
Right.
sabotage them. So not only did she bring up trauma that I wasn't over or something that I wasn't healed from, I'm still currently dealing with infertility issues and have been since last November, which is when I miscarried the first time. So April was the second miscarriage. So for her to just be like, "Oh, she's pregnant, she's smoking, she's baby," I wish I was pregnant. Like,
Right.
thank you. Whatever works for you. So to know all of that was happening to me during while I was literally on stage giving my life to this entire organization. And so many I'm giving other people's money to this organization because at this point I only got my crown and sash because my community paid for it. At this point, I only have an opening number dress because someone else donated.
Right.
And then I'm on major TV stations saying, "Hey, compete for the petite organization. Hey, petite, it's okay that you're short. It doesn't matter." All of
Right.
those things are still very true. I would still tell people to compete for the petite organization if that's something that they're comfortable doing. Just be careful doing it. And that's within any pageant system.
Sure.
The reason why I so quickly decided to compete for another organization is one, because after I found out all of that stuff happened, I didn't make a big deal about it on social media. I didn't go bash the petite organization. I didn't ask anybody for sympathy. Don't get me wrong, tons of queens reached out saying, "I'm sorry that happened to you," which were all of the messages.
Yeah.
However, I personally emailed Jenna, the director, just to get some clarification or explanation as to everything. How come I wasn't informed that this was happening to me? And if it was a concern to the organization, how come no one reached out to me? Or like, how come no one talked to me about this? This is happening right after I made top 10.
Right.
And then I perform again, and then I don't make top 5 at all. I'm okay with that. I'm still so happy for the queen that won, and all the queens who did make top 5 absolutely deserved it. Their platforms, just them as a woman, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, but I was just like, does it? I don't know. And it's not an explanation that I need. I still have When Roses Bloom without pageantry. I just use it to elevate my
For
platform and
sure.
let other people know that all of these things are relatable. You can still be a beauty queen and still be a mom and a therapist and want to pull your hair out most days. It's fine.
Yep.
Like all of
Absolutely.
those things are normal. That was almost a week and a half ago now. I have no response. And ever since then, I've noticed that most of the petite queens in the division who did see the message no longer interact with me on social media.
Interesting.
And the ones that already did, or the ones that reached out and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you," the ones who were genuine during are still genuine now. I'll just put it
Okay.
that way. The ones who were absolute queens during the entire competition, whether we were apart or at the hotel, are still the same amazing queens now.
Yeah.
All of the ones that are like super supportive, they're still queens, reposting everything about When Roses Bloom. So it's still an amazing organization. Personally, the people and the women make the organization what it is. There's always going to be that mean girl. There's always going to be that person.
Yep.
But in this case, the amount of sabotage and the actual emotions that I had to go through to make sure that my response didn't sabotage myself because of how emotional I was. I was literally on the phone with my partner crying.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
it didn't have anything to do with, oh my God, I didn't win. It was like, I can't believe another woman did that to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it didn't have anything to do with what she said. I don't care about the allegations that you're making, but you didn't know I was having infertility issues. You didn't
Yeah.
know that when you put my entire life's personal issues on the front street for 30 other people to see, and then for the world to see, when you decided to make a story telling people I was harassing you when I wasn't even speaking to you, that you could potentially alter every single sponsor I have for my backpack drive, every single sponsor I have for my nonprofit that allows me to keep my mental health forum running. So you're impacting other people's, that means something to me. So
Right. Of course.
when I DM the director with no response, okay, I get it. The current queen is crowned. You now have you probably, I get it. I get it. I 100% understand how pageantry works. You either have the crown or you don't. If you don't, you're of importance. But at this point, I have spent
Yeah.
so much time, money, and resources pouring into the petite organization. I won't say that I'm owed a response, but I feel like it's just a respect thing at this point.
Yeah.
And
Well,
even
I
if it didn't impact my score, a simple,
Mhm.
hey, I'm sorry that happened to you while you were competing for my organization would
Yeah.
have suffered just fine.
Right. Well, for what it's worth, I will tell you that somebody who's competed in other organizations, I don't think that all of them are where if you don't win, you don't matter anymore. So
Mhm.
I'm just going to say that right now. It just might be that that might be the case in this circumstance. So I hope that you know that wherever you may end up in pageantry,
Thank you.
you still matter. And
Thank
there
you
are
so much.
organizations out there that will make sure that you know that throughout your entire reign. So,
And it's
because
not just me like competing for another organization almost immediately. There's plenty of other queens, and even in other divisions that are competing for other organizations. So it's not like a hey, this is my get back, or hey, I'm just gonna bash the organization, because I'm not. I genuinely still think the petite organization is an amazing organization to compete for.
yeah, I,
However, that was my particular experience. And because I didn't get the respect I feel I should have gotten after putting so much time and energy and literal tears into my reign,
yeah.
it's just not the place for me to be. That's all.
And that's okay. And that's why we do this is because we want people to give their honest opinions about how things happened. And you've done nothing but say wonderful things about the organization. And as we talked about earlier today, I said that this whole, our podcast is all about making sure people find the right place for them. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you compete in a pageant and you realize, you know what, this wasn't for me. That doesn't mean that all pageants are that way. And
Yeah,
I mean, I've
exactly.
done I've done pageants where I thought I did the same pageant for years, and I thought, well, this is my home, this is my home. And then
Yeah. And
the next a couple months later, I left and went to a different organization, and I was like, oh no, this is my home. So it's like
yeah,
one of those
that's
things
what
where
it
you
felt
just
like for me.
yeah. So I think, and then that's what I think is great about the fact that you did find somewhere else to go. So can you tell us a little bit about this organization? Because I got to be honest with you, I've never even heard of
Mhm.
it, and I'm very excited
Yes.
about it because now I'm following it like crazy.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I can be that bridge between everybody right now, especially the people who don't know. So that's another thing too. I actually didn't know about the USA Icon pageant either. Um, one of the, I don't know if it was a current queen. I know someone, it was someone who was already familiar with the organization who reached out to me. And they were like, hey, I know that they're still looking for a few women in their division. You should compete. And I was completely honest. I was like, I do not have the money for that. Like I don't even have to code switch right now and say, hey, I don't have the financial stability. I don't have the money for that, y'all.
Right.
So I was just being completely honest. And she was like, whoa, we have this competition where you could submit a headshot, and if you win, and you get free entry. We also have this, if you do this and this. It, they were like, hey, we're going to figure this out. It doesn't
I
even
love
matter.
that.
So I was like, okay, cool. Let's figure it out. We got it figured out. I was just like, fine. So ICON is actually an acronym. It is intelligence. And let me make sure I'm not getting this wrong. I'm pretty sure it's intelligence, confidence, optimistic, and noble.
I love
So
that.
Yeah, and it is once you do a deep dive on the actual Icon organization, you find out that it's run by a bunch of different pageant queens. So the
Oh,
founder is actually Arissa Joel, and she is a former queen. Amazing. Their entire, pretty much, their entire organization is surrounded around knowing what pageantry is and trying to break the stigma of what it feels like to compete. So the whole competition or not being taken care of when you're there or feeling like you don't have time to rest within your schedule and
I
everything's back
love
to
that.
back. So there's so many different aspects that they took to this pageant. I was like, okay, I could do this. So for the USA Icon pageant, this is their first national pageant ever. So it's
Okay.
history for them. It's history for every single queen who's going to walk that stage, regardless. But it's literal national history for every queen crowned in their division, which is why I was like, okay, this division, this specific organization not only reached out to me, but they cared so much. They gave me their blueprint. Hey, this is what we're about. This is what our organization stands for. This is everything that we love. Is this something that you like or support? And at that point, I didn't know if they had really seen or even read about my past experience. So
Right.
I was like, hey
Yeah.
guys, I was like, are you sure? Okay. I was very standoffish for a second. So it wasn't a quick yes. It was a conversation that I had to have with a few of my friends, my partner, and other people. So after I decided to say yes, I was just like, okay, we hit the ground running now. You already said yes. The crown and sash is on the way. You're already in Canva making your ad page. You're now Miss Gulf Coast.
I
So
love
it
that.
absolutely went from there. I can say that since I'm literally joining so late, I've been reigning for 2 weeks. Competition is next Wednesday.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, seriously, I've been reigning for 2 weeks. Competition is next Wednesday, so I've had no time to actually connect with the queens. But for the ones I do have on social media, they're extremely supporting. They are gorgeous. I
Awesome.
absolutely love their platforms. There's one queen who literally, like she uses a food pantry to feed everyone, and I'm just like,
Oh,
dude, I love it. So I thought her initiative was like homelessness or just people like, less fortunate people. No, it has everything to do with eating disorders and making sure that people heal mentally and knowing that they do have these resources. It is okay. Made me love her even more. I don't even
I
know
love
her,
that.
but that's the kind of person that I am. And that's why I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I can do this. Maybe this is an organization that does understand all of the bad stigmas within pageantry and do want to
Hmm.
try to stop them.
I love that.
So I was like,
I love that
okay,
very much.
I'll do it. And I have to say, this is probably my favorite crown. I was
It
like,
is
this
a
is
beautiful
beautiful.
crown.
I
It
was like, it's
is.
beautiful. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping not only that since we all get to make history within this organization, but that it's just a breaking point for everyone who's like, I don't know if pageantry is my thing. And that's another thing too. So many women have reached out to me saying, how do you get into pageantry? Or what's the rules? Or what do you have to do? There aren't many, guys.
Yeah.
If you can afford your reign or if you know how to market yourself and get those donations and you actually care about your platform and wanting to explain that and use your voice,
Yep.
those are the rules.
I love that. That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
those are the literally it's all about you. Pageantry
Yep.
is about what you want to do with your crown, what you want people to see you do with your reign, and how you're going to represent your organization. That's it.
Yes. I love that. So are we going to be able to watch your pageant live stream by chance? Do you know if there will be a
Yes, I
link?
am
Okay.
pretty sure our pageant is going to be live
Okay.
streamed. I'll also I have so much content to schedule and put together. I'm gonna
Okay,
work
good.
on putting together all the backpacks for the backpack drive, but there is a live stream for the pageant.
Good.
There's also like a ticket sale. It's literally amazing. So I'll make sure to drop all of that information
Thank
too
you.
for everybody to see. Oh
Good.
my
Where is
gosh,
that?
it makes
Where's the
me so
pageant held this
excited.
year?
It is held in Orlando, Florida.
Oh.
Yes, I know.
Oh.
I'm so excited. It is at one of the resorts,
Oh, so
at one of the Regency resorts. And that's another reason why I decided to, again, accept the offer to compete because one of the selling points for me was you don't have to hit the ground running all day. Yes, we have a busy schedule. Yes, this is a pageant. You still have your photo shoots, your brunches, your galas. You still have rehearsals, but we specifically held it at a resort so that when you're not doing anything, can you please go get on a kayak? Or
Yeah,
can you please go dip
go
in the water?
relax. Yeah.
Yeah, like we want you to enjoy doing what you're doing so that you're comfortable enough talking about our organization or telling people what Icon USA is, just like most people
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
So, and
That's
if people
great.
do want to know more, I'm actually doing a deep dive right now on my Instagram page about what icon means to me. So yesterday was the first letter I, and then today I will start C, and then we'll just continue from
I
there with
love
the
that.
countdown.
Well, good. Yeah. And people can follow you on Instagram. It's at Rain with Des, and that's
Hmm.
REIGN, not rain like the rain is falling down. So,
Yes,
but we will
yes.
share that in our show notes as well, so everyone can find you. We also would love to be able to share a link to your poetry
Oh,
and anything that we can
absolutely.
do to
And
help
I would
you.
love to do the same for you guys. I'm officially locked in. This is like added
Oh,
to my list of podcasts that I listen to on a normal basis just because I love what you're
yay.
doing.
Well,
And
thank you.
thank
Well,
you
we
for giving me a voice and a platform and everything. And thank you for allowing me to be 100% vulnerable and honest because we don't tend to get that.
exactly. Well, that's what we're here for. So I am so thankful that I got a chance to talk with you and meet you. And I hope that we can continue to be friends. And I am rooting for you. And I know the other girls are as well. So keep us posted on how things are going. But if there's anything we can do to help continue to support you, just please let us know.
Thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate you so much more than you know. You have
Oh,
a forever fan in me.
same girl. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right. Bye, Des.
Bye.